to introduce myself, my name is Sonia and I'm a Programme Coordinator here at Chartered Accountants Ireland on the Chartered Tax Consultant Programme, and I'm going to hand you over to Joe.
Hi, folks. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Thank you, Sonia. My name's Joe Carroll. I'm Head of Professional Development here at the Institute. And I suppose we just want to take you briefly through some of the main points about the Chartered Tax Programme, and then obviously we can answer any questions you might have then as well. So we wanted to congratulate you firstly really on successfully completing your FAE exams. I know it's a huge undertaking, massive achievement, and I applaud that you're already looking forward and ahead and thinking of your next steps in terms of your education and career journey. So Chartered Tax is the only program, I suppose, specifically designed with accountants in mind. So, I mean, we really focused in on a number of those areas, say domestic tax, international, and tax, or accounting for tax. And what we're doing there really is we're looking to accentuate the strengths that you have as an accountant. And we know that there are strengths. So, accounting for tax, obviously going to be an area that you have core competence that you can build on. But also, we're probably aware that in comparison to maybe someone who's coming in as a tax consultant from a legal background, you're probably not going to be as strong on something like legislation, negotiating that, understanding that, referencing that. So that's why so bridging gaps. When we say bridging gaps, that's the kind of gaps that we look that's where we're focusing our attention. Sonia, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So what is a Chartered Tax Consultant? So by completing the Chartered Tax Consultant Programme, you will join an elite group of tax professionals spread across business practice and the public sector. The CTC designation tells clients and employers that you are a confident tax planner with sharp analytical skills, able to read, interpret, and apply legislation effectively, and a creative and independent thinker when faced with complex tax scenarios.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree, Sonia. And I mean, I think it's those skills that we either trying to build, as we said, to accentuate, or where there are gaps, we're looking to build upon them. But that independent thinking is a huge part, so that you can look at a problem, take it apart, and with confidence be able to interpret and deliver, I suppose, a unique solution to that based and grounded in legislation.
Yeah, exactly. And then to give you a bit more about the content overview. So the course syllabus on the Chartered Tax Consultant Programme focuses on the interaction of the tax heads with business and the wider business context. This teaches the core competencies by a versatile and sought after tax consultant. And then studying online. So course materials for this course will be delivered online via our virtual learning platform, Moodle. So you'll get a blend of learning here with online learning, self-study, and you'll also be attending regular virtual classroom and case study sessions throughout the programme. And then I think I'm going to hand back to Joe, who's going to talk more about the programme schedule.
Thank you very much, Sonia. Yeah, so Sonia mentioned there too that we're taking tax heads in their context, and I suppose what we mean there is it really is taking an integrated view. So we're not going to look at VAT in isolation or income tax in isolation. We're going to look at it within a context, a real world business context. And that's backed up by the materials, that's backed up by case studies, which we'll talk to you a little bit about later on. As you see in front of you at the moment, this is the outline of the program. You can see that there are 12 sessions in total. And you'll get a mix of, as Tanya said, on pre-work that you'll do in advance, some recordings that we'd ask you that you'd watch, and then come to class with your questions, come to class to engage in the case studies. You'll see the assignments there. There's 3 of them there, and then the exams towards the end. And I suppose what really I would point you is that while we start in October, you'll be finished the entire thing by mid 19th, mid-June. I suppose it's mid-June, but you'll be finished by late June. So it's a reasonably compact, but I think very, very achievable a schedule that you'll be undertaking. So we've got, I suppose, put an emphasis on the tutors. We really are they're hugely important to us and would be hugely important to you as you do the program. They're working tax professionals, so what they're talking to you about is what they're seeing in the world today. It's not an academic viewpoint, so I think that there's a real benefit in there. And I suppose the remit we give them is to be somewhat like a mentor to you, to give you support, but also I suppose at times to challenge you. And in those case studies that we'll talk a little bit more, they will be challenging you, but that's helping you broaden your knowledge, but I suppose broaden your thinking skills, that independent thinking skills, and challenging you to think about all aspects of the problem and not just maybe regurgitate what the text might say. The materials are all available through Moodle, but you'll have those pre-recorded sessions. So they're there. You'll be giving them in advance, and they will really give you a grounding, so that when you attend the live class, you'll have a baseline of knowledge that will enable you to engage with it at a reasonably high level, engage in the debate, engage in the conversation, and to understand what's going on. Some reading and some case studies. The first session usually, so we've got a Q&A session, which post those pre-recorded sessions. That's the opportunity for you to go, okay, yeah, I've encountered that content, but I'm not actually sure what something means. So your opportunity to clarify, your opportunity to engage. And I suppose not just your own questions, but maybe your classmates' questions, which you can obviously learn from as well. And then those interactive case studies, again, are contextual, so it's based on real world problems that our subject matter experts actually encountered in their career, and then we've built a case study around them, and then we'll ask you to, I suppose, work through them, apply them, show us your knowledge, and expand your thinking in the process. And I'd say those expert tutors are there then to guide, support, challenge, and really help you build that consultancy skill set that we think is really important. So it's about, like, consultancy, I suppose, is about engaging with people. It's about engaging with a problem, and that's what the skills that we're trying to build within those case studies. So yeah, we're probably guiding about 20 hours per module. Look, is it a lot? Yeah, I suppose it is, but at the same time, it is a professional tax qualification. You've come through FE, you know what's involved there, and it's there is a lot. There is a lot in this, but we're aiming to bring you to a very high level. And I suppose expectations kind of match that then in terms of the input required on your side as well. So I've mentioned the case studies a couple of times, and again, as I said, they're practical, and they really are, I suppose, a safe space. You're working with the expert tutor. You're there with some of your classmates, and really, we ask you to kind of read the case studies, go to engage, and then reflect on what that means to you. Reflect on how your thinking might change. And develop those kind of key consultancy skills, but learning from what you've said, learning from what your tutor said, but also, as I said, from your classmates, which is not really important. And it is that group learning that's really important. And as the slide said here, it's consistently rated as one of the most valuable elements. So people look in the rear mirror, we'll ask them, what was good, strong, what did you value most about the course? And they consistently say, yeah, the case studies. Like, in retrospect, the case studies. Don't forget, our assessments are usually case study driven. So your assignments and your exams are case studies. So again, there's an element of these building your assessment readiness, your exam readiness as well. So they do serve that function as well.
Great, thanks, Joe. And then to move on to the learning materials. So in addition to the online materials that Joe has already mentioned, such as the case studies, you'll also receive a volume 1 and volume 2 of the Chartered Tax Consultant textbooks, and a Kindle device as well, which is used for accessing the Irish Finance Acts. In addition to this, you will also have access to TaxPoint, which is a monthly tax journal, Tax Source Total, which is a searchable Irish tax acts, and also Tax News, which is a weekly bulletin. And then I think we're going to move on to the assessment on the course.
Yeah, the Tax Source Total is certainly a really useful tool. It allows you to compare and contrast legislation over the years, so you kind of see what it said in 2016 versus what it says in 2024, and those kind of questions can come up depending on when the problem or the issue has arisen. So it's a really interesting and useful tool for you to have access to as you do the course, but post as you work through in your professional life then as well.
So then as part of the assessment on the course, you'll complete 3 at-home assignments and also 2 open book exams, which will take place online, and each exam is 4 hours. And then the weighing as well for the course. So each of your assignments will be worth 10%. And then the final exam, so it's 35 for each of the papers. And then the pass mark is set at 50%.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sonia.
Great. So then the entry criteria and exemptions. So members of Chartered Accountants Ireland, ICAW, ICAS, ACCA and CIMA. And then in addition to that, the exemptions are one of the following. So the FAE elective in advanced taxation or the CPA elective in advanced tax strategy. Or else if you haven't completed that, you can come in through the diploma in taxation and also complete an additional bridging assignment, or else part 2 or part 3 of the Chartered Tax Advisor programme from ITI or CIOT.
Yeah, so really, I think we're recognizing where you've done additional learning to the core FE, where you've done the advanced taxation element, and that's enabling you, I suppose, you to engage with this straight away, as opposed to needing to do the diploma as the foundational part. But if you do want to do the diploma, that's there. I think we run it twice a year, and then the bridging assignment would be reasonably straightforward once you've completed the diploma, I think it's fair to say. So just around fees, so that is the full course fee. It covers everything from materials and exams. If you're paying it yourself, absolutely, we want to work with you in installments. I think you can do it over 3 to 4 installments, and pay it over a period of duration of the course. If and when you complete the course and you move through to membership, you make an application. You're just like your ACA, you're granted membership. It's granted a designation. There's an initial application fee, and then there's an annual fee. The designation, I'd say, is awarded by ourselves, but there's no additional CPD requirements. So your CPD requirements remain the same. If you're in tax, working in tax, you would need to do some tax. But you can, I suppose, if you qualified and you moved away from tax at some point, your CPD requirements would reflect the job you're doing at that point in time. So it's I suppose, a pragmatic way of approaching CPD. I'm aware this is probably all in the future for you guys in terms of just having completed FEEs, but I suppose the core thing to take away is that doing this does not attach any additional CPD requirements to you. So Sonia, what's next? What should people do?
Yeah, so if you want to book your place, we'd ask that you contact us on lll@charteredaccountants.ie. There has already been a material released earlier this week, so we'd ask that if you're going to make your booking, to come to us as soon as possible, just so you can get ahead with some of the pre-reading before the first class on the 22nd of October.
Yeah. There's a few questions in here, Sonia, that I'll try to pick through, but feel free to add more if you like, or absolutely follow up with email or a call. So, there's no zero pressure to ask today. But first one was, so if I've completed our FEs over 15 years ago, can I gain entry to diploma? The answer is yes. Yes, you can. So you would undertake the diploma, and then that would enable you to access the course. A lot of diploma is incredibly popular, to be honest with you. A lot of people do it. I often kind of refer to it as a general practitioner program, in that it gives you a very good grounding in tax, really good refresher. And even if you chose not to progress on to chartered tax, I think it would give you a really good, really good refresher in tax, and doing the computations and reporting requirements around that. This is the only method of entry in this instance. Des, I'm not sure. This is the only method of entry in this instance. I'm not sure what that means. If you could clarify that for me, I'll try and answer the question. Someone has said I completed the FE tax elective in NI 9 years ago. Does that give me? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I think our exemption bar is 10 years on CTC, and whether it's an NI or ROI tax elective, we're comfortable that there's a sufficient commonality that you'd be able to avail of that. So is it an ROI specific course? Yes, it is. Purely ROI, I suppose there's international tax, but I mean that's through the ROI lens. we have looked at doing an NI version. I suppose it's just not possible at the moment for us to do that, given scale and the investment that's required in something like this, unfortunately. But so it's an ROI specific course. Brian, no problem about the late arrival. Is it the same as doing the tax exams, the Irish Tax Institute equivalent qualification? Yes, very similar. I suppose sometimes I would kind of think it's a similar destination but a different journey. And I suppose we lay an emphasis on certain things, and they would probably lay an emphasis on certain things. Irish Tax Institute, brilliant qualification as well. I suppose it is designed for a broad spectrum of people coming from legal backgrounds, general business background, and accountancy and finance. So I mean, they take different. There's differences as a result of that that they need to reflect. And as probably what I said at the start, Brian, was that we look to build, because it's a unique accountancy focus, we look to build on the strengths that you will have. So look, accounting for tax, we want to make that a really strong point for you. And we look to bridge gaps that you might have. So if someone came in as a lawyer into the Irish Tax Institute, they're probably going to be really comfortable with legislation. You guys really haven't been you're doing a huge amount of legislation, bar I suppose company law. So again, we would look to strengthen that. So accentuate the positives and mitigate the areas that you might have gaps is what that singular focus on an accountancy background allows us to do. Another question here. I have 10 years experience in tax and I'm a South African. I'm from South Africa. How can I participate in Ireland as a looking to emigrate to Ireland? Okay, so you can you would start with the diploma in the diploma in tax, I think would be where you would start. But I'd ask you to drop us a message and drop us an email and just outline that. Because what I wouldn't want, you certainly can do the diploma in tax, but what I would need to do is ensure South Africa wasn't mentioned as one of the ones that we were able to make the award to. There are some T's and C's in terms of how who and how we can make the actual award of the chartered tax consultant to. So we would need to double check that and make sure that we weren't misleading you. But if you were to contact us on email, just outline your case a little bit more, and I'd be happy to pick that up with the chartered tax committee and have a conversation, and then come back to you and confirm what your next steps might be. Is the diploma ROI tax also? Yes. Yeah. The answer to that one is yes. And Brian, thank you very much. That answered your question.
Then, Joe, I can just see we have another question in here from Colette. So what is the benefit of doing the CTC qualification provided over the Irish Tax Institute? So I think you touched on that a little bit already.
Yeah, and I'd have absolutely nothing negative to say about the Irish Tax Institute qualification. But I suppose, look, if we went back to why the institute initiated this program, it was because there was a view that there was some specific strengths and weaknesses that we were looking to address. And I'd say, look, the strengths are that we really can work on that international tax. We really can work on that accounting for tax. There are things that look to differentiate it. Our very, very strong commitment to case studies, I think, is probably is a differentiator. I mean, I know the Tax Institute case studies, but I'd say it's probably the predominant method of live delivery that we have on the program, and that is about those consultancy skills, really, not just your knowledge. It's not just about knowing that you can regurgitate something. It's about the contextual. It's about being a problem solver. It's about looking at the thing in totality. It's about being able to, I can sometimes say, see the wood from the trees. Like tax is tax is a lot different than accountancy in lots of ways. Accountancy is, I suppose, in some ways about making sure that the rules have been followed, making sure that it's compliant. I do think you need to be a lateral thinker to an extent, and be able to see the bigger picture and kind of go, okay, hold on, what are all the solutions? Like, is it could a trust be applicable to this problem? What are the options? So that lateral broad thinking is important. So that's why I suppose that the case studies are about that, because it is a difficult thing to teach. because when people say it's either there or it's not, and we'd say that's not the case. It's like we can assist people in, acquiring that and sharpening that. And that's what those case studies are about. So I think that's another important differentiator. But as I said earlier on to the question, I can't remember who asked it, but in lots of ways we end at the same place. We're probably going to, but I would like to think that the journey is a more interesting, richer journey. But having said that, they're both very good qualifications.
Great. And I can just see Colette just had an additional question. Is the Kindle device updated for the changes to the Tax Act each year? And yes, they are, Colette. There is a new file each year that participants download. So that's updated each year. And then Joe, you might have the answer to this one. Is this the first year the CTC is available? I know it's not, but I'm not too sure how long.
No, I am going to say this is year 13. Believe it or believe it not. I think 2011 I have in my head, Sonia. I can't be 100% sure about that, but I'd have to look back at the records. But I think it's 2013. I think I've seen somewhere. So yeah, reasonably well established. Good track record. Like, I don't know, probably literally hundreds of people who have completed it at this point. Scattered in different business, practice, public sector and beyond.
Great. And I think that's all the questions that have come in so far. If anyone else has any more.
Yes. Oh, might have been one more came in because.
Oh yeah, I just seen it there.
Oh, if for some reason you not reached the pass mark in one of your papers, can you repeat more of the options? So, Sylvia, there's an element of compensation allowed between the two of them. I think it's quite limited, but there is. I think there might be some element of compensation allowed between two papers. If you didn't, yeah, you would be unable to resit it. I'm going to say that I'm not sure we're running a second session with a specific second reset session. I think you might need to do it with the following the year's cohort, but you would carry over everything else. So you'd carry over your assignments. So as Sonia said, 30%, you'd carry over that paper that you had passed. The only thing you would need to do is that paper that you hadn't passed, as far as I think I'm correct in saying that. But start on a really positive note, Sylvia, that you're not going to fall into that bucket, but no, it's a good question nevertheless. Sonia, I think that may be the last of the questions. If anyone has a last one, please do drop it in. If not, maybe we'll wrap it up soon.
Yeah, perfect. After today's session, I will touch base with each of you just with some follow-up information on the course. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to get in touch or even to have a quick call about any queries you might have on the course.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great point. So I mean, if anyone wants a one-to-one session, myself, Sonia, or some of the team could have a chat with you and help you kick the tires a bit more with it.
Absolutely.
But look, Thank you very much. We're finishing a whole 5 minutes early, I think. But if we've answered everyone's questions, just thank you for your time. Really appreciate your interest. And whatever you choose to do, good luck with it in the future. And thank you very much.